Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Dallas Weekly presented by 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. Today, we are going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys draft class of 2020. And the only way we can do that is if I bring in my dude, the man himself, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. How's it going, Vincent?
How you doing today, Jeremiah?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. So on this very first, amazing partnership between the Dallas Weekly, which is the premier Black-owned and operated newspaper in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, ran by two people that we know and love, trusted by all the community, Patrick and Jessica Washington, and of course, Jim Washington, the publisher emeritus. And we definitely are really excited to bring you these sports videos coming every week. We are live on the Dallas Weekly's Facebook page, over onto YouTube, on Twitch. We want you to join us each week, and we want to show you everything we can. So without further ado, I'd like to say, Vincent Turner, how is it going?
Hey, man, I'm very blessed. I'd like to say this, much love and thanks to Dallas Weekly for believing in us. To the Washington family, I couldn't be much prouder and honored to be on this great newspaper. And most of all, it's a dream come true because I've been a Cowboys fan since 1966. I love the city of Dallas. I lived there for, 8 months back from 1983 to 1984. And what more can I say? JR, Dallas, the whole 9 yards. I'm very excited. But most of all, seriously, thank you to the Washington family for giving us the opportunity here at 100 Yards of Football, and we're very honored.
Absolutely. And we are excited to not only be here with the Dallas Weekly family and the 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio family, but also to be joining you to talk about a great subject that he just mentioned, the Dallas Cowboys. So, all right, Vincent, how do you break down a team like the Dallas Cowboys and their draft class? Because this is what we're really here to talk about.
Well, basically, let me start this with everyone knows I have a Cowboys hat.
Yes.
I'm wearing the blue shirt. It's affiliation with my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma. I hope that's not a problem. But I'm trying to coordinate here. But
Yes,
most
sir.
of all, before I get started, how about them Cowboys? Well, when you look at the 2020 draft class, it's a very special class when you're talking about terms of talent. And if you go back in Cowboy history, let's go back to 1991 when they drafted Russell Maryland, Alvin Harper, Dixon Edwards, Eric Williams, Leon Lett. That class right there in 1991 really was the foundation of the Cowboys winning 3 world championships in the 90s.
Yeah.
Then you go back to the 1975 draft, Randy White, Thomas Henderson, Randy Hughes, Herbert Scott. That kind of set the tone. And of course, my man Mike Hedman, Tennessee State University from the 901. That kind of set the foundation for the championships in the 70s.
Ooh.
Well, it's been a long time since the Cowboys have won a world championship. The last time, I believe, 1996.
Yep.
So this class right here might put them over the top. I like it a lot. I gave it a grade.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's talk about some specific players then. So how do you feel about CeeDee Lamb?
All I can say is a lot of people saying he was the best receiver in the draft, Boona Sooner. Like the man's size, 6'2", 207. But what I like most about him, he had 24 career receptions for over 40 yards. That means he's getting deep on people. 32 career touchdowns. A lot I can say is he's a very explosive player. And think about this. He's going to be teamed up with 2 receivers that went over 1,000 yards last year, and Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. They might have the best receiving core in all of pro football coming up. Boona Sooner.
How about Mr. Trayvon Diggs?
Well, when you're talking about this, the guy's already got some NFL family because his brothers was a pretty good football player in Minnesota for 5 years. Now with the Buffalo Bills, Stephon Diggs. But you're talking about a top athlete playing the cornerback position. 6'2", about 210 pounds with long arms. Started at Alabama as a wide receiver. Couldn't really get on the field with all the talent at that position. They move him over the defensive back, and what does he do? 2 seasons, 4 interceptions, 18 pass defense. But he's a guy that can play bump and run. And he kind of puts me in the mind of A lot of people might get offended, but a guy that came out of Southern University, came with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the early 70s by the name of Mel Blount. Same type of makeup,
Yes.
excellent cover skills.
Ooh. How about Neville Gallimore?
Hey man, a lot of people kind of slept on this young man simply because he didn't come out with the bullet hole name. He played at Oklahoma, a team. If you remember the last time we think about Oklahoma, they gave up 63 points to LSU in the semifinals of the national championship. But this is a guy that's from Canada, which is very unusual for a football player to come from over Canada. But to me, the most athletic D tackle in the NFL draft last year, aggressive, loves the trenches. But what I like about him, he loves the game, went down to the Senior Bowl. Everybody fell in love with him. They fell in love with him with his strength now, Jeremiah. Check this out. 500 bench press, 800 squat. You see what I'm saying? And to me, he might be the most gifted all-around athlete in the 2020 NFL draft.
Okay. All right, rounding it out, what about Reggie Robinson II, right?
That's right. Cornerback out of Tulsa. A lot of people hadn't heard of him throughout the season. Played in the American Conference. Basically not a Power 5 conference. But think about this. The guy was a first-team all-conference. Last year, defended 11 passes, had 4 INTs. Coming out of Tulsa University, think about this. Now, that was a young great yesterday that got elected into the NFL History Hall of Fame.
Right.
And he was an undrafted free agent in 1973. And I think he turned out to be a good player in the Cowboys blue by the name of Drew Pearson. So maybe Reggie Robinson can bring that same type of magic that Drew Pearson brought to the Cowboys in the mid-70s.
Well, that really takes us there. I mean, I don't know what more you can ask for out of a team like that. You've got some new blood coming in on each angle. What is your big takeaway from the Dallas Cowboys draft class for 2020?
Well, what I think they added pieces that can finally get them to the Super Bowl. That's what I like about it. I'm a guy, if you know the league, it's all about scoring points. Again, Boone Sooner to CeeDee Lamb. A lot of people saying he was the best receiver in the draft. For him to fall to Dallas was very, very special and an outstanding blessing. You're talking about a guy, 24 career receptions, over 40 yards.
Yeah.
That means that man is getting deep on defense. Then you're talking about his yards after catch ability.
Yeah.
Then you're talking about 32 career touchdowns. So all I can say is you're getting a football player, and you know he's coming out of a system. Think about this. Out of the last two out of the last 3 years at the University of Oklahoma, they've had Heisman Trophy candidates that's won the trophy, Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. And this guy comes to that ass system, so you know you're getting a quality football player and putting him with 2 other guys that has over 1,000 yards last year, and Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper. Dak Prescott has got to be saying this right here, Jeremiah.
What's your final word on Trayvon Diggs?
Like I say, coming out of the SEC, playing against the top level competition, the best conference in all of college football, studying under probably and arguably the greatest coach in all time, and Nick Saban. Tremendous athlete, like I say, 6'2", 207, comparing him to a guy that came into this league out of Southern University, out of the state of Georgia. Mel Blount has the same lot of similarities. And the thing that I like about it, and I'm going to take about my final word about Mr. Diggs, he came to Alabama as a big-time wide receiver. They moved him over to cornerback, and he played at a high level.
Whew. All right. Mr. Gallimore, final word.
I think, well, when you look at this, Dallas lost Gerald McCoy. Big loss, out for the season. But I don't think the Cowboys have anything to worry about. I say Mr. Gallimore is going to be a guy that's going to be able to plug in. I think Dallas still has the potential of being a top 5 defense. This is a guy, if you look at his game film, loves the line of scrimmage, love the trenches, energetic. Went down there to the Senior Bowl, and everything came back with him A+. Outstanding character from Canada. They don't even play football over in Canada. And for him to be the first, I think, high school All-American to play in the Army All-American game, that says a lot. and he's got great size, 6'2", 304, and he can add 20 more pounds. And
Yes.
think about this. He's going to be playing on the D-line with Terry Poe, DeMarcus Lawrence, and now Everson Griffin.
Yes. All right, and finally, your final word on Reggie Robinson II.
To me, this is a guy that can be the sleeper. 6'1", 202, another big guy with length. Like I said, comes out of the same school. Let's go back in history. 1973. This guy was an undrafted. He was a quarterback. We know he was going to play receiver in the league. He was undrafted, but I think he had a pretty good career. His name, out of New Jersey, Drew Pearson. Same school. So I see Mr. Robinson being in that same mold, but I like the guy's size, 6'1", 202, and he could play corner or safety.
Yeah. Well, for everybody watching, you have been watching the Dallas Weekly presented by 100 Yards of Football's Dallas Cowboys Draft Class of 2020 recap with your producer, Jeremiah Long, and our host extraordinaire, the football encyclopedia himself, Vincent Turner. Vincent, what's your final word? Anything else you'd like to say to the audiences here at the Dallas area?
Like I say, I'm glad to be on your airways. I'm very appreciative. We at 100 Yards Football are very blessed. To the Washington family, one more can I say, thank you. Thank you. And how about them Cowboys?
All right, and make sure you stay with us every time this week because we come to you live. If there's anything you'd like us to cover when it comes to Dallas sports, when it comes to the area and in the community itself, just let us know in the comments. And for the Dallas Weekly and for 100 Yards of Football, we'll see you later this week. Bye.